Well, hello there, and have a fine day to you as well. I am Rakashakasulu, and I'm here to make a video. Who would have guessed? Essentially, now that the Aatrox Rework has been out for a patch, it's been enough time for people to sort of get to grips with it and whatever, I'd like to actually come out and give it a bit of credit, essentially. I'd like to come out in its defense, because everyone's basically come out slagging it off, calling it like Riven 2.0 or saying it's the worst rework ever. And in response to those 2 points, first, the new Aatrox doesn't combo his Q like Riven does, doesn't play anything like Riven, he's based on positioning, not combos. And second, is he one of the mage assassin reworks that Riot has literally reversed? Is he any of the Juggernaut reworks? Is he any number of the Rise reworks? Is he the Yorick rework? Then he's not the worst. No. Common opinion is that this is a bad rework. But in my opinion, that's because normally when Riot reworks a champion, they overload the kit all to hell, so that it's broken on release. For reference, please see the recent Aurelia rework. Whereas, in this case, it's actually been somewhat moderate and reserved, and as such, perhaps he's underwhelming to people who, understandably, were expecting him to be pretty broken. This footage, by the way, is a game I played of him top recently, my first top Aatrox game, went quite well. Yes, that is Dark Harvest Garen that I'm facing, so you can probably tell what elo this is. It's not very high. This is a normal game, and essentially this is basically gold elo. That is so. Right. A few other factors that I don't think really helped the, well, the case of the new Aatrox is that he was essentially broken when he was reworked. He was considered an S-tier champion and was being used a lot in professional play. And immediately before the rework's release, everyone is saying he's worse than old Aatrox right now. And they just seem to forget the 5 years which I have been there for, of Aatrox just being nowhere, essentially. Like, he's gone from top tier to bottom tier, or like middle tier perhaps. And people just seem to be conveniently forgetting that for 5 years it was noteworthy to even see an Aatrox. Like, so I believe current Aatrox is a lot better. No, he's not as high on a tier list, but height on a tier list does not a good champion make. Now, here's the thing, like, just because he's strong, or just because old Aatrox was strong, doesn't mean he was good. Mordekaiser, after the Juggernaut reworks, was strong, but that's because he was broken, because he was cheese, not because he was good. He's, well, that's another video for another time. But a lot of people, and a lot of, like, YouTubers, a lot of, pretty, not necessarily high profile, not necessarily high profile, but well-known YouTubers, Ross Boomsocks, Donghwop, I think maybe G-Bay, I'm not certain, but like, most of them have said that it's not a very good rework. And I think that they're all basing their opinion on that 1 week before the rework where old Aatrox was actually good. Not good, strong. Where he was strong, where he was a desirable pick. And I don't think that's fair. Donghwop said new Aatrox is a 2 out of 5 and old Aatrox was a 5 out of 5. No. No. I respect you, Donghwop, greatly. And I think that you are smart. But old Aatrox was never a 5 out of 5. He was S tier, I'll give you. But he was never good. He was never healthy. Because old Aatrox, highly item dependent, and very hard to balance a champion, because when he was good, when he was strong in the game, he was overbearingly strong, and he was always going to be based on how well ahead you were, which isn't healthy at all. Now, let me go over some of the positives on new Aatrox's abilities. His Q. I actually rather like his Q. It's not amazing. I think it's a little bit clunky. However, it's way easier to balance. And new Aatrox, there are so many things that Riot can do now to make him stronger and weaker. Because you can change the casting times. You can change how much more damage the tip does. How large the tip of his Q is. I'm assuming here that you do know what his abilities are. And a lot of people have said that his E, for example, is a really shitty dash. It's not supposed to be for mobility, it's for positioning. Like I said before, new Aatrox is based on positioning rather than combos. And he's not meant to be mobile, that is just there so that you can get your Q in place. That is how it's supposed to be. I like the fact that there's interaction between his Q and E. Obviously his E is, as I've just said, is made to position your Q so that you can hit them with a tip. New Aatrox has a much higher skill base, which means that his abilities can be more powerful without making him broken, because an opponent has counterplay against him. I played against him as Mordekaiser relatively recently, and I won lane. I'm rusty as shit on Mordekaiser, and Mordekaiser is not a good top lane champion, but I won because there's counterplay to it, okay? I'm also quite fond of his passive. Mutilator is a cool thing that I think we've needed for a long time. And
a summoner has disconnected.
We got it now. It is reduction of shield strength, which is really good. I mean, it's not maybe the best way of doing it in my opinion, but I think it's good. His new ultimate is also a really good ability. Great for team fights, and it's a cool idea of how to do it. Obviously, not perfect. There are some negatives to Aatrox's new kit. His W, obviously, is trash. His W is absolutely awful. Like I said, he's a little bit clunky. He doesn't scale very well. But I think that some of the... here's the thing. That he doesn't scale well isn't necessarily a negative. There are always going to be champions that excel in the early game and champions that excel in the late game. And the scaling has to be a factor. There has to be early game and late game champions. And having that clear defined weakness, you either do well early or you don't do well at all, is a good thing. Well defined strengths and weaknesses are good things.
I will take that pitiful existence you call a life.
Now, Aatrox is no longer as dependent upon items as he used to be, and that's really good. He's not feast or famine. And I know that sort of term gets thrown out a lot, but he was. The other only negative I really have to say about him is no resemblance to the old kit other than perhaps his ultimate and the fact that he's kind of sustain-y. But honestly, what were we losing? Let's be honest, what were we actually losing? Not a great deal, to be honest. Now, there's a number of things I think you could do to improve current Aatrox. I'm not 100% on whether his Q is interruptible or not. If it is, then that's good. If it isn't, then probably needs doing. I think that the first casting of his Q could probably do with having a slightly larger tip, or to do more damage perhaps, so that it doesn't feel so worthless. Like hitting that first Q really doesn't feel like worth doing, and I certainly feel like it's not worth using your mobility to actually hit it because it's such a small area. But this is the thing, there's so much, like I said, there's so much you can do with new Aatrox that can make him better. Obviously his W, I think, needs changing because it's really bad. I'd say make it ignore minions, but not monsters. Give it a slow upon its hit, and give it a slow after it's sort of reactivated, or If I'm not certain if it does have a slow after reactivation, but improve it. Essentially, his W is where he falls down, in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying that the new Aatrox rework is perfect, but I'm saying it's an awful lot healthier. It has a place. It has a niche as a really hard lane bully kind of thing. Perhaps he doesn't transition that well into teamfights. That's because I'd say that new Aatrox is a juggernaut. Yes, he has a lot of CC, and yes, he has a lot of, well, he has some mobility, but he fits the juggernaut sort of archetype perfectly, in my opinion. He is strong in lane, he does a good amount of damage, not much mobility, CC, and he can struggle in teamfights, much like Garen or Darius. One other small change I'd like to sort of throw out as an idea. His passive Mutilator either increase the duration or possibly make it less powerful, but applied constantly, essentially. Here's the thing. I think that new Aatrox has a lot of potential to be a really good champion. And I think that the kind of treatment he's gotten is unfair. I look at some of the good reworks, in my opinion, such as Scion. Scion, next to old Scion, had very, like, one ability resemblance to his old kit, much like new Aatrox does. And new Scion is one of my favourite champions in the game. I don't know that new Aatrox is going to be one of my favourite champions in the game, but I can certainly tell you that he's got a lot going for him in that sense. He's got a lot of potential to be a really good champion. That's basically everything I have to say. But I feel like everyone's perception has just sort of been skewed by the fact that he was quote-unquote good, as in strong, before the rework, and everyone seems to just be conveniently forgetting 5 years of him being utter garbage. So, there's my 2 cents on it, and I think I'll just leave you to, well, watch the rest of this. It's not a hugely long game. I'll just double check. Yeah, it's about 30 minutes long. So I'll leave you to watch the rest of that. And have a good one.
Blue team double kill. Shut down. Killing spree. Blue team's turret has been destroyed. Shut down. Killing spree. Shut down. Red team's turret has been destroyed. Blue team has slain the dragon. Rampage. Shut down. Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Forward!
Shut down.
Right, is that done?
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Crap. Savor like frozen out.
Raven, throwing the other team a bone.
Demacia!
Killing spree. Red team's turret has been destroyed.
I will not falter!
Red team double kill. Shut down. Red team has slain the dragon. A summoner has disconnected.
Go, Wolf.
Killing spree. A summoner has reconnected.
For the cause!
Not here, not yet.
Stay resolute!
Shut down.
My sphere of influence grows. Expanding my horizons.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed. Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Go, Wolf!
Run them down.
Shut down.
Buying time for the rest of his team with that
Red
sacrifice.
team double kill. Aced. Red team has slain the dragon.
Come on!
Expanding my horizons.
Go, Wolf!
Run them down.
Killing spree. A summoner has disconnected. A summoner has reconnected. Rampage.
Fallible.
A summoner has disconnected. A summoner has reconnected. Red team double kill.
My turn.
Chase to your heart's content.
Mine.
Red team is slain by Nashor. A summoner has disconnected. A summoner has reconnected.
Time for a
Team's turret has been destroyed. Dominating. Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Buying time for the rest of his team with that sacrifice.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed. Blue team's inhibitor has been destroyed.
Shine once more before the end.
Red team double kill. Dazed.
behold immortality.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed. Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Raven fires his own.
Rampage.